So you guys all remember the court case, the what was it, Dominion court case against Fox News and the many consequences associated with that. Well, now it's heating up again. This time it's not Dominion. This time we're talking about Newsmax, a much smaller conservative network. And look at this. So Rolling Stone reports Newsmax staffers hit with subpoenas in 2020 election defamation suit. Court filings rife with internal communications exposed Fox News post-election misinformation push. Newsmax could be next. Dominion Voting Systems defamation lawsuit against Fox News laid bare how the network communicated behind the scenes about broadcasting 2020 election misinformation, ultimately leading the network to fork over a massive settlement. Newsmax could be next, as voting technology company Smartmatic has subpoenaed several of the right-wing cable network's current and former employees for work and personal correspondence. That is a big deal. So once you start seeing the emails, once you start seeing the text messages, then it's possible to prove that this was malicious, where they might admit, like, yeah, we kind of know this is bullshit, but we're going to go ahead and feed our audience what they want to hear. We might get that now. Personal correspondence is super damaging. Several Newsmax insiders who spoke with Rolling Stone under a condition of anonymity due to a fear of reprisal said that roughly 3 weeks ago, they were told to hand over mirror images of their personal cell phone, personal email, and iCloud as Smartmatic lawsuit against the network moves forward. Smartmatic attorney J. Eric Connolly, managing chair of the litigation practice at Benesch, Friedlander, Copland, and Aronoff, LLC, tells Rolling Stone Smartmatic intends to pursue discovery from the current and former Newsmax employees who participated in the egregious disinformation campaign against the company. Some of the discovery has come and will come from the company. Smartmatic is pursuing these individuals to get the rest. Our complaint does not numerically specify the amount of damages we have suffered. Okay, so apparently we're not going to get a number in this case. Now remember, it was about to go to trial, and Fox News settled in the Dominion case. Why? Because they were so deathly afraid of what would come out publicly in the process where you go through all their personal stuff in the discovery process, that they were like, look, fine, we'll pay you a bunch of money. Like, fine. We can't have people knowing how the sausage is made and the stuff people are saying behind the scenes. Because from the leaks that we had already gotten vis-a-vis Fox News, it was devastating. Like, you had Fox News, who on air is a big Trump ball coddler. Tucker Carlson was like, I hate the guy. I hate him with a burning passion. I can't wait to get past him. There's literally nothing positive that's come out of the Trump years. I mean, it was scathing and devastating. And then, of course, you have the people admitting, like, this stuff is crazy. Sidney Powell's a lunatic. What are we doing here? And then they go on air and they play footsies with the absolute idiots and morons and charlatans and frauds and rile up their base for no reason whatsoever other than they want to get the eyeballs. So a lot of damaging stuff came out. That's why they settled. They didn't want more to come out. And it looks like Newsmax is going to be in a similar situation. Now, the difference, guys, is I don't think Newsmax is in any position whatsoever to take a big financial hit. Fox News has been the number one name in cable news for a very, very long time. So if anybody can handle a multi-billion-dollar hit or whatever, it's them. It's even hard for them. But Newsmax? Oh, forget it. You might be talking about going belly up here. They say Smartmatic claims in their lawsuit that Newsmax knowingly pushed falsehoods about knowingly is an important point there. Knowingly pushed falsehoods about the company following the 2020 presidential election. Newsmax published and or republished false statements and implications during news broadcasts and online reports and on social media that Smartmatic participated in a criminal conspiracy to fix, rig, and steal the elections, the defamation suit alleges. Newsmax, which did not return Rolling Stone's request for comment, initially pushed back on the Smartmatic defamation suit with a countersuit claiming it was an intimidation tactic. However, in February 2023, Smartmatic's case was permitted to proceed, and Newsmax staffers are now being asked to hand over pertinent material. Dominion earlier this year submitted multiple court filings with pertinent communications from Fox News executives and talent, revealing with damning detail how major players at the network knew they were pushing lies about the election. Rupert Murdoch testified that hosts endorsed the false idea that the election was stolen. Tucker Carlson texted that Trump's allies were lying and that the network viewers believed it. Suzanne Scott, Fox News CEO, emailed about how fact-checking bogus fraud claims was bad for business. Again, you think the Fox News stuff internally was bad. Wait till you see the Newsmax stuff. I'm sure it's even worse. Because honestly, they're even crazier, and they embraced these claims even more so than Fox News did. The filings backed Fox News into a corner ahead of a highly anticipated trial during which key network figures were expected to testify. The network opted to settle with Dominion on the eve of the trial, paying the company $787 million to avoid more public embarrassment. Carlson was ousted from the network days later, and his departure reportedly being set in reportedly being set in motion by a racist text message collected as part of Dominion's lawsuit. There was a whole plethora of reasons why he was ousted from the network that we've talked about in previous videos. So anyway, this is very, very serious. And I just want to point out, here's what we do know for sure. They pushed election lies. Or at the very least, if I'm being kind, election falsehoods. You might say some people on air believed it. I tend to doubt it. We'll know soon. But they said things that were demonstrably, provably, verifiably untrue. And they said them over and over at the top of their lungs. And remember, we are talking about a quote-unquote news network. So why did they do it? Simple reason. Money and eyeballs. Money and eyeballs. They were willing to say things that many of them probably knew were totally untrue to make money and get eyeballs, to not piss off the base, to kowtow to the base. So understand something. These so-called news networks are just being dragged along by the whims of their viewers. They're not being honest. They're not being straightforward. They're not being fair. They're not being objective. They're not telling harsh truths that might annoy people who watch them. No. They are basically paid whores to the whims of an audience that's just looking for a particular narrative. Guys, can't warn you enough against the narrative humpers in the industry. Anybody who sticks to their narrative and refuses to allow in any counter evidence or proof is a hack. They are a hack. You should not take them seriously. From what we know internally from the Fox News correspondents versus what they were saying publicly, for what we're going to know about Newsmax, vis-a-vis their election lies and Smartmatic, none of these people should ever be taken seriously. And I mean that especially extra for people who are on the right who are looking for news that they trust. Now you know they were lying. Now you know it. Or at the very least, just spreading falsehoods. Now you know it. Now you know it. So when you have 60 lawsuits that get tossed out, even by Republican judges, even by Trump-appointed judges, when the right was trying to say, oh, the election was stolen, and then we learned that it's actually not true, not even close, react correctly. Don't just say, I don't see it because I want to be right, blah, 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 blah. Don't do that. They did an audit of the vote in Arizona. You remember this? And the right was saying, let me tell you something, it's going to be a big win for Trump after we do this audit. Well, guess what? Not only did Biden win, he won by more than they thought he won by on Election Day. So his vote tally went up when they did the recount. Hold your L. Facts have to come first. But I don't think they care. But look, the law does. And you guys know me. I'm as big of a free speech bro as they get. But the fact of the matter is this. Libel, slander, defamation, these things are not protected speech for a reason. It's for a reason. And if they can prove that this was defamation, which they might, Fox had to pay out because they were afraid of what would come out and that they'd probably be found guilty. Well, you made your bed and now you're going to sleep in it. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.